Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. I hope your household is benefiting from what's happening with these wonderful guests that we have coming on the Kim Jacobs Show. How are you, Marvina?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You look great over there.
Thank you. Thank you.
And look, they like you laughing because we know the behind the scenes stuff, right?
Yeah. Of course. Leave it to me.
Just leave it to me. Behind the scenes stuff, y'all be like, "Now that right there, that's a show. That's a show." That's exactly. So funny. But your dog's situated, right?
Yes, she is.
Good. Because the thing is, dogs, they be like, "What are you doing? I thought you were coming to help me. Now all of a sudden, you done sidetracked, got cute and ready for a show. What about me? What about me?" If the dogs could talk, right?
Exactly. See, she knew once I got dressed, something, she going somewhere. I'm like, no, it's not for her this time. So I usually walk her after I dress. So she thought it was about her.
That's funny. Same with my dog. We have a sheepadoodle, and he comes trotting to the door like, "Where are we going? Where are we going?" I'm like, "Oh, not this time."
Yeah. That's it.
But believe it or not, like dogs are like a part of our lives. So they are like, I know when our one dog passed away, that was like a big deal. We had like this whole ceremony. It was a really big deal in our house because we had her for like 13 years, you know?
Wow. Yeah, I do know because this is my fourth dog. So been through it a few times. So I know it feels just like family.
Yes, it does. So listen, everybody in the virtual studio audience, go ahead and share the broadcast and tag your friends and let everybody know that we are here today talking with Marvina Sims. And Marvina is a special guest to me because she actually graduated from the program on how to start your own show from scratch. So I'm super excited that she's here today. And today, there are so many different directions we could have gone in. Because when you hear some of Marvina's backstory, you'll see we could have went in a lot of different directions. Yes. But we're talking today about breaking the cycle, overcoming toxic connections.
Yes.
And Marvina is going to be sharing some tips with us and strategies on how to do that, how to get past some of these toxic relationships that are pulling us down.
Ooh,
and we might be pulling other people down. So just don't always think it's that you being pulled down. Other people might feel like you pulling them down.
Never know. You never know which way it's going. It's all in the perception.
All in the perception. Yeah. So when y'all come in, tell us your thoughts too about toxic connections. And if you want to come onto the show directly, feel free to just use this link. It'll bring you right into the broadcast and you'll be a part of the discussion. The only thing is you have to show your camera. Because I've had a couple of like hagglers. I'm like, what? They wait until I get them on the screen and then they do something crazy. I'm like, that ain't happening again.
I know that's right.
Yes. All right. So we are going to learn about this wonderful soul that's here with us today. Let me pull up something. I want to pop this up. Marvina Sims is a published author of 5 books. She's a speaker and empowerment coach. She's also has her bachelor's degree, and the bachelor's degree is in English with a minor in creative writing. And she's a certified library technical assistant and a certified domestic violence advocate. Marvina's early retirement from the United States Railroad Retirement Board allowed her to delve more passionately into her reading, researching, and writing, hence 5 books. So we're going to learn a lot more about Marvina on today's episode. So welcome, Marvina.
Hey, I'm here. I'm back. Thank you for having me back too.
I'm
Appreciate it.
so glad. Listen, nobody would know. Nobody. Just looking at you, you look like this bubbly, exciting, cute, got your hair slayed,
Thank you.
outfits. You're ready to go. But at the end of the day, there are some things you've been through that most people could have never endured in their lifetime.
Child, look here. And I did it all. I did. Look, y'all, forgive my background. That's my granddaughter's goodies. But
Oh,
I
girl, don't
did
worry
it.
about that. Let me put you over here. You did it
Okay.
all what?
I did it all. Oh, they can't see it. I was trying to
Oh,
show
this
my
is
chair.
I'm gonna move all of this stuff out of your way so they can see it.
Okay, so this is my round legs here. I did it all with my round legs.
Mm. All out of a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair, baby, all day now. I used to walk with crutches, but then you get older, things get a little feebler, so I had to stop with the crutches. They suggest, I still use them when I need to stand or go, upstairs or something like that. But yeah, but most of my work has been done from my round legs and my mind. You have to have that mind together in order to
Yes.
keep moving through a lot of the stuff I have gone through. Now, there's this one song that keeps coming to mind, and I know people gonna think it's "I Come from a Poor Family." That's the other song. That's another one too. But the original song that I thought about today kept hitting me. You don't know my story or all the things that I've been through. You can't feel my pain.
That's right.
And all the things that it took for me to get here. So you'll never understand my praise when I talk about the goodness of God. I don't play about that one. That's for sure.
So nobody, you feel like, don't judge because you don't know what I've been through.
Yes.
You don't know what I've had to endure.
There you go.
You've used your round legs, meaning your wheelchair,
right.
And you've used your mind in order to, in your opinion, get to where you are today.
Yes, ma'am. And even when I first had my first interview at the U.S. Railroad Retirement Board, I was a federal employee. And I'm in the interview and the lady goes, so how do you think you'll be able to do this job? Because, they ask you the questions about how many pounds you can lift and all that. So I understood. And then you see my chair, you instantly think maybe, I don't know, most people, by the way they look at me, they're judging me like, oh, you're in a wheelchair, you're helpless. That's what they're thinking, some of them. But when you get to know me, it's a whole new story. But anyway, I was going to go back to the topic, but I had to give some background because, this is just a setup. Because by the end of this interview, I hope people will have a fuller picture of who I am and just what I've had to go through to get here. So when we talk about toxicity, I didn't know anything about as much. You could tell when somebody's being mean or nasty, even as childhood, something's wrong when somebody just wants to hurt you, harm you, and don't ever or hardly ever show real affection. So I didn't know all of this was considered like abuse and how it's going to affect you when you get into adulthood. So I started doing my studying. And when I say study, I mean reading books, watching videos, and talking to people personally. And those people I spoke with, we all have some commonality when it comes to toxicity and unhealthiness. And just certain people are scapegoats, and that's where another group will get together and discuss you and only you. They may have not even been friends at first.
Yeah, they best buds, right?
But now, hey, we cool like that. Call me. And that's what the whole topic was, probably about me. And I'm okay with it now. That used to bother me, but when you continue on your healing journey and you start to love on you just a little bit more every day a little bit more of loving on yourself. Stop being so concerned about what they think, what he might say. they are not you. They are not living your life. They did not live when you came out that womb, and they are
That's
not going to die when you return back to that dirt. So focus on the self. Focus on the self. Bring it back, baby. Bring it back home. Bring it back
well.
home.
That I'm glad that you have embraced that mindset, because growing up, I'm sure it was not. I know one time I saw an image of you on a skateboard, and that was your legs, and you were just going down the street on the skateboard. So how was it growing up under those kind of circumstances? And that's probably why you're talking about toxicity today.
Oh yeah. Oh, it started on a skateboard when I told you the story, but that wasn't the beginning, baby. I learned how to crawl, and in my body cast, I couldn't move my legs, so I had to scooch on my belly, just like what? A turtle. I got a turtle here right now, so that's what came to mind. But I probably looked like a turtle because that big old heavy cast on my back, baby, that was like a shell.
Hmm.
You hear me? That was
Hmm.
like a shell. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was one thing, battling with my diagnosis, which is called osteogenesis imperfecta, which is brittle bones. Mine is, I believe, type 6, if memory serves me correctly. I have to go back
Okay.
because the types vary. But I only was affected in my legs, but I still have the traits. So there are certain traits that OI people who are born with OI share. But everybody's, like I said, individual, so we got to do this thing on our own. So yeah, from the shell cast, and I might get out of that cast, and then probably a week or two later I'm back broke up again, and then I had to go through surgery. And so yeah, when I say I was crawling on all four, my toes and my hands, feet and hands, or on first starting on my knees, so I started getting holes in my clothes, hands staying dirty. Oh yeah. See, you taking
Mm.
me back. You taking me way back. So
Well,
even though I was battling with my situation,
uh-huh.
there were people who weren't as loving and kind in that time for me. And I don't think I really got to feel the love. Now that I'm looking back, it
Right,
seemed
right.
like the only reason I got the attention was because of my disability. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, I can go in so many directions with this.
Right.
But I've been praying before I started this since last week. Whenever was I started praying and was asking God, use me. Somebody out here needs to hear what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
whatever it is
Oh,
that I
everybody
can
needs to
say,
hear what you're talking about.
there you go.
Everybody.
There you go. Everybody. So whether you're a victim or you're the perpetrator, and sometimes the victim seems to become the perpetrator because we are reacting to how we're being treated. And so
That's
when
right.
we start lashing out and coming back, then now we look like the crazy one. But that's how it's all set up. The gaslighting, all of that is a part of toxicity, where they're going to make you think that you didn't hear what they said or did.
Mm.
So you are the one that's making this all up. Now, come on, y'all. We know. We know we ain't making it up. We know what we saw.
Yeah,
So
I don't understand why people act like they have amnesia whenever they know. It's like they don't really have amnesia, because they are very methodical in other areas of their lives.
there
But
you
then when
go.
it comes to something that triggers or becomes a problem because of something that they may have going on mentally, whether it's
Mhm,
bipolar disease or
mhm.
whether, I don't know what type of diseases people have, because I really can't pinpoint
Right,
it,
right.
but I know that it's like selective amnesia. I don't know what is happening, but
You
it's
said it. You
disturbing.
said it. Selective amnesia. They want to forget whatever it is that's important to you, but I bet you they remember what's important to them until you decide I'm not taking this shit no more. And you start pulling out. Now all of a sudden they can remember your favorite every damn thing you got, from the color to your earrings. They will know you like a hawk. But that's
And
the
the thing
part of
is, and now
Mhm.
let's say this too. Now with
Go ahead.
bipolar disease and different diagnoses, those are formal diagnoses. So I'm not at
There you go.
all
There you go.
suggesting that
Okay.
any of that be downplayed, because those are things that have their own course of treatment, diagnosis, and remedies
Right.
that some of the medical physicians specialize in. But the thing is, some people aren't even, and I'm just talking about generally, people aren't willing to get the diagnosis. So go get diagnosed
There you
with
go.
whatever
That
it is that you're supposed to be getting treatment
I'm
and
glad you
therapy
said
for,
that.
in
I
my
am
opinion.
so glad you said that. You called it correctly, because it's not just based on the toxic behaviors. it can be what do you call that, invoked, I guess, by having a mental illness. And
Right.
then even speaking of what you were saying, like the bipolar, schizophrenia, um alcoholism, all of that plays a part of people being toxic, when especially when you're not in your right mind. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's a thin line between, okay, let me put it this way. Yes, there are mental disabilities out there for sure. I know
Right.
that. However, you cannot let that be your excuse to be abused.
Hmm.
Let me say that again. Maybe somebody missed that.
That's
It
key.
doesn't matter what someone else's disability is. If they're talking down to you, degrading you, mistreating you, you don't have to take that because of that.
That's
Remember,
good.
love yourself first. Love yourself first, and everything else will fall in place. So that's where it starts. If we can't start here, it's not going to, and be in alignment. You're not going to be in alignment. Let me say it that way.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and in the studio audience, I want you all to chime in too and tell us your thoughts. Do you think that because someone may have a mental illness, whether it's major depression or bipolar or, like she said, schizophrenia, whatever the case may be, then does that mean that you, if you're on the receiving end of any abuse, that you should be willing to receive that given the situation? So I would love to hear your thoughts on that in the studio audience too. Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Any comments came in, Mackenzie, from in the studio audience? Let's pop some of them up if we see some. Okay, let's see. I saw Mighty God, Dr. Sandra Jackson, and she has the authors forum. So if you're ever looking to write a book and be a part of an anthology, she has some good projects that's being worked on over there. And she has a really great book that's coming out really soon. So I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, but it's a game changer, and it is one that is an emotional roller coaster. So thank you so much for being on, Dr. Sandra E. Jackson. Dr. Lotus Richey is on too. She has the Lotus Richey Ignites show, books that boom your business, 15 minutes of fame type of thing, all kind of stuff this woman has going on. So you definitely want to connect with Dr. Lotus Richey, and you'll be a great guest too, Marvina, over on her platform. She said, Kim Jacobs, hello, great to be here for another great show. All right, thank you. Hello, Ms. Sims. Thank you for sharing your experience. Okay, so Marvina, and sharing your experience here, what was like a turning point for you that made you realize that Oyayabub said that you sent me a messenger on Facebook. Please check it and reply. Absolutely, I'll be honored to do that, Oyabub. Okay. So anyway, Marvina.
Yes.
What was that turning point for you that you said, okay, enough is enough. I'm not going to take any more abuse from anybody, regardless of what my leg situation is. I'm still worthy of respect and honor and having high self-esteem. What was that point for you?
My boiling point, I believe, because it might have been so many things, it just adds up. But for me, when I started recognizing how I was the one seeming to be over giving, over sharing, over empathizing, over understanding, But then when it came to the people I dealt with reciprocating, I'm seeing it wasn't being returned to me. So
Right.
I'm not gonna, after a while, you literally get drained. You feel so tired. And that's where I was. I had gotten so tired. And that's when, things will happen. God will make us wake up and recognize.
That's right.
So it's like it was time for that next level. That's what I believe. And he keeps taking me on these higher levels, and it feels wonderful. But yeah, that's when my journey began, when I decided I can't do this anymore. I'm pouring and pouring and pouring, and then nobody's returning. So that's depleting. And that's when I started to start doing my research. And that's when I learned I wasn't crazy. It wasn't me. And it was a beautiful thing. And actually, one of the authors, oh boy, I wanted to say her name, Patricia. And now I can't remember her last name.
But Patricia, that's fine, as long as you know.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, yeah, she actually picked up the phone because I called one of the numbers in her book, and she answered. And I got stuck. I'm like, hello. And she said, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is a person." And she and I talked for like an hour. And when I say that was the most refreshing feeling to know that someone else can understand, empathize with your situation. And that's when it started on me. Well, if she's doing it for me, perhaps now I can continue doing it for others. And that's how I came up with We Win, Women Empower Women in Need, because I just felt like it wasn't enough of that going on for me. And I admire the people, the women who have had that type of camaraderie and been able to go through life and be pushed forward based on the positive people that you had to deal with. Now, I got one positive person I remember, and that's sad. I need to bring her up.
That is sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sad when I think about it. One positive person, I was in high school, and she stood out to me. She was a teacher. Back then it was Miss Walker, and I've been trying to find her. She got married to Annie Walker, and then she changed her last name to White. So she even came to my baby shower. It's been almost 30 years. So I've been looking for her, but she said to me one day, she said, you need to learn a skill so you can sustain yourself for the rest of your life. And that one sentence, I believe, she said a whole lot more. Me and Miss Walker was cool. I used to go to her room for lunch just and try and pretend like I'm interested in this fouling. I hated fouling. So I just wanted to be in there with Miss Walker so me and her could talk. So she was cool like that, one of the coolest teachers. But anyway, yeah, when she said to me, you really got to be on your P's and Q's. She was like, she was talking to me, my mentor, before I even knew the thing existed. That's the way I felt. So she was my encourager, and she's the one that helped me to see, oh, okay, so I don't have to remain in my situation, because I grew up in the projects. If anybody know me, I am from Rockwell Gardens. I'm proud to say I am.
Where is Rockwell Gardens? Where is that?
Rockwell Gardens projects, housing projects. They tore them down.
But where is it? Where is it?
Oh, I was living in 2501 West Monroe.
No, I'm saying what city? I don't know where Rockwell.
Oh, it's in Chicago. Child, forget you and I know.
I'm like, what? This show go to 100 countries. They'd be like, where Rockwell Gardens?
Child, I completely forgot. I totally forgot you ain't in where I'm at.
The funny part is, guess what? I grew up in the projects too. It was called the Bottom. Like that's what the locals called it, the Bottom.
Bottom.
We had grocery stores with no windows. People sitting out on front with Jerry curl bags on it. It was crazy. It was crazy how.
So you understand? Hey, fist bump. My sister.
But my mom taught me, and I had teachers as well that let me know that no matter what my circumstance, my situation, I could be anything I wanted to be. So it wasn't based on where I lived to determine the outcome of my destiny. See,
that was my Miss Walker. But see, in my household, it was more like, how you gone? Who gonna hire you? It was like, oh, okay. So I didn't realize back then it was toxic, but I knew I need to stop sharing those dreams with him. And that was my brother. Yes, my older brother. And see, now my heart goes out even to the people who did me wrong. My heart goes out to them because they have been through some stuff too. They haven't made it to the next level or whatever God is dealing with them with. So they wouldn't understand. So I can say I understand both sides of the story. You know what I mean? Even though I felt like I was more, because I probably did of course I did some toxic stuff, been a bully and stuff. I wrote about it in my book, Brittle Never Broken, by the way. So if you want to learn what I did back then, yeah, that was the old me. But God. That's my story now. But God. Yeah. It was like that, but God. So anyway, I hope I answered the question.
Oh yeah. You know what? This is just a good discussion. We're talking today, everyone, about how to overcome some toxic connections that we may have, how to break the cycle, because the cycle can just go on and on from generation to generation. And if nobody figures out how to cut it from the root, then it just never ends. So
well,
what
let
we're going
me
to do is
just
we're going to take
say,
a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to hear some tips and strategies from Marvina Sims on how to break that cycle. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this break. All right, everyone, we are back, and that is today's episode sponsor. If you like coffee, which I've heard some rave reviews about this particular coffee, you can go to vproducts.store and purchase some. They have 6 mushroom infused coffee, and then they have some regular black coffee over there. So go ahead and make sure you support our sponsor today. All right, so Marvina, when I was researching on Very Well Mind, and I'll put the link in there for you guys, it says toxic relationships make you feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, and or even attacked. Sometimes it's like emotionally, psychologically, and even physically. So
and
a lot of
financially,
things. And what?
financially and sexually.
Financially and sexually as
And now
well.
it's even digitally, online stuff.
Now you done went to cyberbullying and cyber attacking. Okay. So talk to us and tell us some of your theories and thoughts on how we can overcome these toxic connections.
Yeah, well, first thing, of course, is education, because first we got to realize that's what's happening. People don't want to believe you. It's a major catastrophe to believe in your life that the person that you love, and this could be husband, pastor, wife, sister, but I could go on and on. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, we're the show about how you balance your life. So this is real time balance, everybody.
I've been trying to avoid this. She was outside, but then my daughter came in and let her in. Curious. Okay, it's okay.
It's all good, because guess what? You can't have a show about balancing your life and then not be able to have real moments of balancing my life, you know?
I love this. So anyway, yeah, we named all of the ways it can happen. And then this is global. This is global, but you know, it starts with the individual. So if we are willing to see something is wrong within us first, because that's where it starts. We got to see what's wrong with us first, if there's anything wrong, or a better way of putting it, according to Oprah's book, What Happened to You. Instead of saying what's wrong with you, it sounds more, combative. What happened to you? We all have a story. Everybody are the way they are is because of their story. But once you realize it got to be better than this, it got to be something more pleasant, more loving. One of those things that is so difficult for us to do. Love. That's such a small word, such a simple request. Just love. But no, we can't. It's an issue. So that's where we're working at too, on the love. That's where it starts. Once you start to realize what is happening to you, because like I said, having a loved one that's doing it to you purposely, they're supposed to love you. It really boggles the brain. So once you come to recognize, yes, this is what's happening, and it's being done on purpose. That's the part I had to get past. It's being done on purpose to keep you off your square. So, excuse me, you need to ask that question, look into it, ask for revelation, because I'm telling you, when you start seeking that very thing that you're looking for, you're going to get it. I promise you that. And then for me, it was my belief in my higher power, because I knew it was a better life for me. So you got to want better for yourself and believe that you can get better and go for it. And then start making those simple, small steps. And that's where I had to learn too. Because it can be overwhelming when you think of all the things, what you could do, what you should do, maybe. Because the average abused victim attempts to leave between 7 and 10 times. Just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, there are ways to get it done. We have the domestic violence hotline, and it's overwhelmed, I'm sure, with people who can't get into the shelters they may need to get in if it's that drastic. I mean, it's just scary, the fact if it's a physical abuse, then and you're afraid of your perpetrator. She's threatening you, and you know it's not much you can do,
Right.
because they will take the things that you love and use it against you. And so you got to keep it, it's a mind boggling situation to be in. And like people have that question, why don't they just leave? Why don't they? No, it's not that easy. A lot of
Yeah.
people have, first off, when your mind is caught up in this, you think this is love, but you're being attacked and hurt every day. Love ain't about that. It really, that's my opinion of love. Everybody got their own definition. But if it's gonna hurt, you can talk to the person you love that loved you back, and they will listen to you. They will understand where you're coming from. But that toxic person, they don't want to hear it. It's
You
you the problem.
cannot,
Everything is about
you can't rationalize
you.
with irrationality. You cannot.
Not at all. Not at
So
all. Yes. So that's why I said you got to start thinking what's best for you. Number one, and live your life, because this is the only one we're going to get that I know of. So make sure it's the best you can make it. And your story is going to help you to make it that way. So don't be mad at your haters. Don't be mad at them that did you wrong. If you the one that know it's better for you, you're going to be thanking them. I promise you that. I'm thanking man, all of y'all. I'm thanking y'all. Thank you.
that's funny. You know what? The domestic violence hotline, which she referenced as well, is 800-799-7233. Again, that's 800-799-7233. Now, if you're in a different country, you want to look up your local domestic violence hotline. And then there's also what is this? Back here. Okay. Thehotline.org is another resource for you. So we like to be able to provide you with resources that are tangible for you to be able to reach out to immediately if you're dealing with some type of domestic violence situation.
Thank you.
Marvina, I like the fact that, and I kind of starred some of these because I really like the fact that you're really giving some methodical strategies here. You're saying making sure that we are educated first. Educated meaning what? When you say being that we're educated in what capacity?
In anything you want to know as far as toxic and unhealthy relationships.
Okay.
There are so many books, so many videos out there. I know the most popular word everybody's using is narcissistic. Narcissistic. Yeah. That's just a generic term everybody's using. But there are different, types that there are the bipolar people, the B complex or something like that. It's a lot out there. And I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I can sit here and explain it, because I can't. I just wanted to learn for myself the type of behaviors, the love bombing, where they're gonna, hey, pretty girl, or girl, you so fine, I could sop you up with a biscuit. Those type of flattering type of things, the old man thing. No, that's just me. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't talking about my old man. I ain't messing with y'all. Y'all all right with me?
That is so funny. Okay, so I'm glad you said that, because when I just put a link in the comment section for everyone, and so some signs of toxic relationships. It says you can tell if the bad outweighs the good in a relationship, but if someone consistently threatens your well-being by what they're saying, doing, or not saying, then that's most likely a toxic relationship. And some of the things that it said is like, you give more than you get, which makes you feel devalued and depleted. You also feel consistently disrespected, or that your needs aren't being met. You feel a toll on your self-esteem over time. You feel unsupported, misunderstood, demeaned, or attacked. It's like a long list of them. And you're always to blame. Nobody, never take any responsibility that I could have been the one that caused some of what's happening here, or all of what's happening here.
Right. And then they have you thinking, oh, maybe it is me. Maybe I could have did this. And it didn't matter. It don't matter what you do. It's going to always be something wrong with you. So that's the part where some of us get guilty and be trying to make like, oh, maybe it is me. We want to blame ourselves, because that, that makes to seem to make sense to blame ourselves. But oh no, you need to look into it to see what type of person that person really is. And it's all the negativity. If they constantly complain, that's a big one. If there's something always wrong, and they the ones that's not even going to lift a hand to do something about it, always complaining about what something else is happening and somebody else is doing, but they're not doing a darn thing. So those are the toxic people. And I mean, this is like, I'm hoping to encourage those who want to do better for themselves, make their mindset more positive and, get up out of that icky. Since we need more, y'all, the positivity ain't enough because everybody want to jump on the bandwagon with all the negative, be like the followers. So those of us, I'm talking to you, who want to do better for yourselves, get the education you need to learn and get validations. Those are my VCR words that I call validation, confirmation, and revelation. So if you hear stories or read something that people see, then you'll know, wait, that sounds similar to what I went through. So you'll get the connection. Once you feel validated, that's the most freeing part. When you feel like, well, it really wasn't me. And it's really not that difficult if you really are interested in bettering your life.
I'm so glad I went back and just started these comments because that's such a rich summary of what that actually means. And you're saying even with making simple steps so that it's not so overwhelming. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that too?
Right. Because see, now when I know my situation started changing, I started, just like I said, getting all the books I could read, all I could about controlling people. Now, see, I remember the title, but I can't remember her last name. Evans, got it. Patricia Evans, Controlling People, is my first book ever. And all of that was, when I say validation, confirmation, revelation, throughout that entire book, I was able to relate. And so I said, wow. When I learned that, I was just getting hungrier for more. So if you could just get a book and read it as much as you can, you'll see just how much your life is resembling a lot of other people. So you're not alone. That's the word I want to get out there. There are a lot of people experiencing what you're experiencing, something similar to it, can relate to you. So don't think you're in it by yourself. Just start working to getting your life better. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
That's really, really good. Okay. And then even like when you realize that this is happening to you, it's like sometimes the mind tries to play tricks on us. It's like, what's happening to me? And this is actually something I've said out loud to myself. I'm like, what kind of sci-fi movie am I in? I go in with the right intention, thinking that I have the right intention anyway. Then I'm like met with this opposition or this toxic situation, but I couldn't predict that it was going to happen. So how do you suggest people break a cycle of something that they really can't even tell is getting ready to pop off?
I like that. Thank you for questioning that. But the bottom line is you can't give them, I don't know the situation, but the basic line is you can't give them the energy that they're looking for. Toxic people love you to be angry and upset, or they will even tell you why you mad, and you know doggone well you ain't mad. So they're trying to evoke the anger in you.
It's like, what?
I kid you not. It's crazy making at its finest. So then now you're arguing. So they love that, getting that drama out of you. So don't give them that. Start giving them certain responses that they won't see you getting all uptight about. That mess them up because they looking to feed off of you. But hey, cut the supply, cut that supply, choke that joker. Spin it around your hand if you have to. Cut off the air supply. Do not let these toxic people continue to keep you upset. Don't give them what they're looking for. And I wanted to bring up Dr. Ramani. That's the one who I listen to a lot to now. And she has a new book out, It's Not You. And I've started that, didn't finish it, but she has some great information in there. If you want to know how and what toxicity is about, you can look at that book. So yeah, it starts within you. That's where it starts. You got to want it, and you got to start opening your eyes to see it for what it really is.
Yeah, I pull this up because you are a walking example of brittle, never broken.
Thank
and
you.
As you can see, Marvina, like, ain't nothing stopping me. I got my round legs. That's what she calls her wheelchair. And she is not about to let any inactivity of her lower parts prevent her from getting where she needs to go in life.
There you go. And that's in Ghana, by the way. That's the picture I took in Ghana.
Well, look at you.
In Africa, I got there. See, I got my African gear on.
Yeah, you look good. You look good.
Thank you. But yes, Brittle Never Broken. That is my memoir. And that Brittle Never Broken, most people are, it's a little play on words, that it's about my bones. Yes, I am brittle, but it's the spirit that's never broken. So And that's what people really want to take away from you. If you have that bubbly, happy spirit, the joy of the Lord, just the thought of being grateful about what you have and stop complaining about what you don't have. Thank God for what you got. And I promise you, it's going to multiply. He will do it. He will do it. I'm a witness.
Yes. I'm a witness as well. And that's why I often tell people, listen, it's not the joy of another human being that's my strength. It's the joy of the Lord. The joy of the Lord is my strength. And that gives me a different perspective when I'm dealing with people.
I love that. I'll have to use that one. Thank you for that reminder. Yes. Because I know it could get hard for you. I can imagine.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. And then, you know what I noticed too, sometimes if I choose to handle a person a way that I think God would want me to handle the person, but someone else may disagree with how I'm handling that person, then they're like, oh, you stupid, you dumb, you silly. I'm like, I don't care what you think, because at the end of the day, guess what? I'm going to be held accountable for how I behave in a situation. Nothing to do with you telling me what I should be doing.
That's it. I love that. Yes, you have to know what God is telling you how to handle. And it's all back to, it boils all right back to love, love, love. I know somebody's like, I want to hear that. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Marvina, I mean, I could talk to you all day, number one, because I mean, this is just fun, just talking to you. Let me pull the books up that you are the author of 5 books. And with it being Women's History Month, I definitely want to salute and honor you for taking the time to get some of this out of your spirit and putting it out into the atmosphere so that we can benefit from your gifts and your talents. Let's go through these books and tell us what each of them are about. The Brittle, Never Broken. We talked about that, but you could talk a little bit more about it.
Yes, that's my memoir. That's the one about me coming up from before I was born, because my mom was battling with paranoid schizophrenia, and she had to get it together for herself in order to keep me doing what I needed to do. And I mean, constantly. So yeah, I'm telling everybody about that single mother story of 3 and my life and the madness of what I went through, being in a chair, having broken bones, and still being in the projects, going out there, smoking, drinking, acting a clown like everybody else. Well, not quite. Can't do too much when you're brittle. But I was in it and excited about it. But yeah, that right there, I was more concerned about getting up out of the projects. And that's another miracle God made happen. That's my life during the projects. And the rest of the Massage Jenny, that's about the about abuse. All of it is basically about toxicity. Labeling Saga, more poems, and All Lives Matters, more poems. But Duplex Occurrence is an actual story of fiction, and they have it labeled as dramedy. So it's crazy about these twins who are going through their toxic behavior. And I'm not going to say anymore. You need to get to see what's happening.
So how can people get your book? All of your books, and then I have marvinasims.com is what I'm thinking, right?
Right. 1 M for the Sims. It's only 1 M. Oh, that looked like just an error. Never mind. You did it right on the bottom part. Never mind. Sorry. You got it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me
Don't worry about it. It's cool.
You know, I'm over here with my mouth open like that.
I saw you. I'm like, don't worry about it.
I want to make sure it's right for you.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
There you go. Marvina Sims. And stay connected with Marvina at Marvina Sims with 1 M. So it's MarvinaSims, because I have a lot of audio podcast listeners too. Okay. And so they're not seeing the broadcast. They're just hearing
thank you.
marvinasims.com. You can get any of her 5 books there, and you can learn about other events and things that she has going on. This woman is a walking miracle, is what she is. She's lived with bone brittle disease, which is, tell them what the breaking bones mean. It means that you can break bones at any given moment, right?
Yeah. Yes, you could sneeze and break a bone. I fractured some ribs too. So yeah, it's brittle. You really, and now I have pins in my legs that stopped it, and then puberty made my bones stronger, according to the doctors. But yeah, some people are born broken up from head to toe, and so it's just like all the various types. But yeah, my legs were affected. So I was constantly, I could be doing things and then pop, and I'm back in the hospital, back getting cast up for 6 weeks, out of school. Yeah, it was a wild life as a child. It really was. And yeah.
Well, I'm really grateful that, so you think that your bones have gotten a little sturdier since
Well, according
you,
to puberty, yeah, the doctor says once I reached puberty, when the menstrual cycle began, it strengthens whatever's in the bones. So I didn't break as much.
okay.
So yeah, went a long time without breaking for
Wow, okay.
years. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that update as well. Listen, also, I want everybody, I'm not going to take a formal commercial, but I do want you to hear something that one of my sons, he lives with or kicks cystic fibrosis in the head. So he went on his own personal journey to lose about 100 pounds. So this is him before and this is him now. And he is also a new author as well. And I wanted to make sure I share with you all that he's raising about $4,000 to go towards a cure for cystic fibrosis. Many people don't know what cystic fibrosis is. It's a lung disease that impacts the lungs significantly. Many people that live with cystic fibrosis have to ultimately have some type of lung transplant type of thing. But I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Let me just publicly say that, okay?
Amen.
I believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I know that God can do all things, and to him who believes. So I believe that he is healed and that he can definitely be a warrior and a conqueror, all that he's already doing. But because when people look at him, they don't see the same things that other CF patients, cystic fibrosis patients live with. So he's considered like a warrior or an ambassador, and he helped raise, I think him and two of his siblings fight the same disease. So him, Jayla, and Jeremiah fight the same disease.
Wow.
And they raised about $2.2 million for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Last year they spoke and they did an auction, public auction. People were saying 10,000. I was like, man, what kind of fundraising is this? Like,
I know that's right.
Gabe's Heart Foundation too,
wow, right?
I'm like, they were just up there speaking at the Truist Field in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And people were like, hibbita, hibbita, hibbita. I mean, I'm talking about like giving 20,000. It was amazing.
Wow.
So he has been charged with getting $4,000. It goes directly to Boomer Esiason Foundation. And many of you all know Boomer Esiason is the person that's ESPN commentator. Okay. He was at the Super Bowl commentating and all of that. Okay. So $4,000 is what he's been charged to raise, and it goes directly to the foundation. So I want to put that link up so y'all know right here where to send. It's right in the comment section. But here's what I want you to see is just a video from Ivan. And any donation that you give, again, it goes right to the foundation, Boomer Esiason Foundation. His son lives with cystic fibrosis, Gunnar Esiason. And so Ivan is one of the ambassadors.
Hey, my name is Ivan, and I live with cystic fibrosis. I was diagnosed at 17 years old, and I had a hard time accepting the fact that this was my new normal. In a split second, I had pills I needed to take, treatments I had to do, and statistics that weren't favorable. So I decided to take CF head on. I became an ambassador and advocated for the disease. I took my treatments regularly, and I try to be an inspiration for my siblings. If you also live with cystic fibrosis, I know it can be hard, but what you're doing is also inspiring other people. I'd love to hear about some of your personal victories. Please share them below this video.
That's nice.
Yeah, so y'all take a moment, and it doesn't matter what the amount is because it just goes towards his goal, and it'll be a blessing for being able to help find a cure. Praise God. All right, so you are an author. Your mother, your grandma. How is that possible? You don't look like nobody's grandma over there. Tell us about motherhood briefly.
I tell you, when I always knew I was going to have a child, I always wanted a family, so I created one. But after that first one, I was like, ooh, that's enough. And then my grandbaby came, and one day I was sitting on my couch, and I'm thinking back when I was on the skateboard or scooting around. And and the things that I went to and through, and I was like, I'm so tired of this, I want to die. And it's like what I would have missed had I've gotten my wish of wanting to die. Now I can just enjoy watching my daughter and granddaughter just interact, and I'm just like in awe. I'm in awe, like I did that. I mean, like through God, but it's just like awesome. It's an awesome experience. I'm grateful. Like I said, so much to be grateful, thankful for. That's yes, but it's a
I
good
am so grateful too. And I mean, so obviously I'm speaking on behalf of me and the studio audience. With you having the brittle bones, how did that work when you were delivering your daughter?
Oh, I had to have a C-section, of course. So they were trying to get me one doctor that had a team because I was high risk. And there was other women at the job who were pregnant, but all of them had complications. I went all the way to 9 months. That's why you can't judge a person by how they look. But anyway, um, yes, I had to have a C-section, and then they were trying to find things wrong with her. The doctor was like, "Oh, you can have this child at 7 months if you wanted to do it vaginally." And I'm thinking, what kind of crazy? This was a doctor that suggested that I have my child vaginally, knowing my condition. I was like, no, that won't be happening. So
Right.
yeah, that was another experience. But yeah, that's a whole nother journey that would take a whole nother show if we were gonna go through that. But once again, it leads back to but God.
But God.
But God, child.
Now, I hear you speaking of your faith very frequently throughout the episode. And so, how important has faith been in overcoming some of these toxic connections that you've dealt with?
Oh, child. Yes, when that's a whole lot of topic too. But faith is definitely the only thing that I could say that got me to where I am now. I kept believing. You got to keep believing. I'm like, I can't go out like this, Lord. This ain't the life I was planning on being. And
Right.
so it's like, see, you got to see that vision within yourself. You got to know who you are. People gonna try and tell you who you ain't, and you gonna eventually probably start believing who you ain't. But then after a while, you get through the mud, you get through the swallow, you get through the lies, and you realize the truth is you were the one that was bringing it, baby. You were the one. And so once you get from among them and start the milk starts falling out your eyes, and you start to see who you really are, and continue with your faith and belief in God, oh, he will do it. He will do it. I'm a witness. I am a witness.
You're now being a mom and a grandmom, and not even being able to use the lower part of your legs, right?
There you go. And that's why
And so
people
that
can't
right
come to
there
me
alone is
with
a
those
miracle.
sob stories. Too many people come to me with them sob stories where I can't, and I'm looking for to be a victim. It's like, that's
Like,
another
girl,
red
get
flag.
out of here. If I can do it, you can definitely do
That
it.
part. Yep. It's like, but your mental is on tag. Ain't nothing else should be able to stop you. That
That's good.
determination. Yes.
So getting the mental and having being educated, and even if it takes you researching articles, books, whatever it takes for you to educate yourself so that you know where you fall on that spectrum. Are you the victim? Are you the person that's causing the problem? And how you can course correct it is what I'm hearing you say, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. If you feel like it within yourself, you know when stuff not right. Things gonna change because that's what happens. Life continues to change. So if you feeling within yourself something's not right, and you start searching, you start seeking, you gonna find. Ask, seek, knock. That's in the word too. So all you gotta do is ask, and you gotta look for it and expect it. And that's when God starts to show you miracle after miracle after miracle. So if you are interested in starting with you, getting you together, it's steps to it. Definitely steps to it. And this is a life's journey. You never stop learning. Things
That's
gonna
right.
always keep changing. That's what life's about. But
That's
you
right.
got to know what you want. You got to know what you're supposed to be here to do. And I believe, because I went through all the stuff I went through, like I felt like nobody was there to really reciprocate of encouragement and everything. It's like there's no way somebody could be in my presence and feeling, like they're not in a better place in their life. and not have me say something. Even if I kind of feel it, see it on your face, I ask God to talk to me. Let me know what this person needs right now, because it's not feeling right.
So you use discernment yourself if you're seeing a situation that you know it's just not going right based on your own observation, and you still offer the advice for that.
Yeah. See,
okay. Now I know that you have been beside Miss Oprah Winfrey. So tell us about this picture and how did you come to become acquaintances of some sort with Oprah Winfrey?
Miss Walker, my school teacher. In high school. That was a fundraiser for Walter Jacobson, and all those big wigs were there. And Oprah, oh my God, she reached down and she was so kind to me. And you see, I was like, I don't know what to say, but she said she was going to send me that picture. And lo and behold, she took my address and mailed my pictures to me. She sure did. Yeah. And that's where I was.
We love you. Well, shoot, let me go ahead and put my little thing out there in the universe. Oprah, I literally used to read the closed captioning on my television, and I would emulate you when I was younger. And I mean, not too young, I was a teenager. But anyway, the point is, I would be like, okay, everybody, so coming to the stage right now is my girlfriend, Gail. And I would just emulate all of the stuff that you were saying, practicing, not knowing that many years later, I would officially become a talk show host. I had no idea. I ended up filming at the old Jim and Tammy Faye Baker studio, the old Praise the Lord studio, had all kinds of guests that have been on the show, Les Brown, George Frazier, Mother Love, Dominique Wilkins, Emmett Smith and Pat Smith, and you, Marvina Sims, and last person to survive the plane crash on the Hudson, you name it. Twin Black judges that have gone on to do great things together. It's been a blessing to be able to serve the world in this capacity as a host. But I just want to say thank you to you, Oprah Winfrey, because you inspired me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Oprah's gotten me through a lot. I know I used to be so miserable going to my job. I'd be like, oh, God, I got to go back in this place. And I would be visualizing Oprah interviewing me. And I'm thinking to myself, what's she going to be interviewing me for? But that was my escape. So I visualized me and Oprah in an interview, and it was just seeming so real. But that was how I got through that moment in my life. But yeah, Oprah is such a kind person. When she bent down and touched me, I'm like, she is so sweet, personal, and all that. Felt good to be in her presence. Yeah.
And being a person of her word to get the picture mailed to you. And this is a high school picture, right?
Yeah, that was when I was in high school. Yeah.
And look at you today. Today you are a talk show host. You went through the training program on how to start your own show from scratch. And speaking of which, if you all are interested, we have a training class coming up, and we've already started filling the seats. So if you're interested in starting your own show podcast from scratch, then just reach out to me, 704-944-3534. Again, 704-944-3534, or you can email Kim at thebalancedoctor, and doctor spelled out, .tv. All right, tell us some closing thoughts, Marvina.
Well, my thing is, I am so appreciative to be what people call me an inspiration. I never would have thought it would be something that would be my life right now. But now when I look back, I'm so grateful. And for anybody who feel like you're in a bad place right now, I want to just tell you, if you really believe, reach out, believe in your higher source, you will get answers. Let me put it that way. If you feel like you're stuck, because that was me at one time, but God. So based on your beliefs and what you plan on doing to get to your goals, you have to be determined enough to want it for you and not worry about what somebody else is thinking or doing or all of that. It's about you. Save yourself.
Save yourself
first.
Don't worry about you cannot fix anybody else all by yourself. You can definitely offer advice, encouragement, articles, guests like Marvina.
But you ain't gonna change them.
Huh?
But you ain't gonna change them.
You're not going to change a person unless they are willing to be changed.
They got to be willing.
And they are willing to apply the information that's being provided. Exactly. So make sure work on you. It's already enough to work on ourselves.
Yeah.
It's plenty of work for myself.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even know our own hearts, because as the Bible that I read says, sometimes our own hearts are deceitfully wicked.
Oh, of course. So we're born in iniquity. Yeah, we're born that way. So we're battling every day. I know I am, because like I say, a lot of times I come through situations, the actual thing that went through my mind, what I could have said was totally different from what I actually said. So yeah, I have to hold that part of me down too. Like I said, I'm a sister from the projects. You could take the girl out the projects, but you know the rest.
Yeah. I've been told that, because that's why I go to restaurants. I'm like, is this free refills?
Right.
Why are you asking? The people are like, why do you keep saying that? Is it free refills? I want to know if they're going to be charging me another $3. So some things I'm like, this part of where I came from, you don't get clarity. You're not going to get a bill. And extra, you're like, what?
Right. If you would have told me 3 drinks ago, I would have held off. Asked for water.
I just drunk my water, but that's the project part of me.
There you go. That's bougetto part. That's the bougetto part. We bougie but ghetto.
That's funny, but I wouldn't trade my life in for anything. And the people that were in my community, we love each other. We had a good time. We looked out for each other. You weren't gonna just come up in our projects and just mishandle any of us, and nobody else tried to jump on you and tried to help. So we always had sugar and milk and butter, because it's like, I don't care, we ain't going to the grocery store tonight. We're gonna get it right from sister so and so. Go right on that door knock and be like, my mama sent me over here to get some. I was like, what? But it's okay. I'm the one that had to go.
We used to trade whole dinners. Like, we having this tonight, y'all having that. I'll take yours, you take mine. We'll take the whole plate and switch.
So we must have grew up in the same projects, just in different cities, right?
There you go. It was still the love. Still the love.
I was in Newport News, 757. Wait, I know all kind of numbers. 757.
And I was in 2501.
Y'all, we didn't have a good time.
But still on the west side.
That's funny. All right, y'all. So we done went way south doing our own thing over here. But I totally have enjoyed you being my guest today, Marvina.
Thank you. It's an honor being here again. I appreciate you too.
Yeah, it's so much fun. All right, everyone. Make sure you all stay connected with Marvina Sims, and her information is right here, MarvinaSims.com, MarvinaSims.com. You can get any of her 5 books that we've talked about. And you can also just stay connected with her. If you just want to reach out to her because you think you're in a toxic relationship and want to hear some of the resources that she has available to you, please make sure you reach out to her. Let her know the Kim Jacobs Show sent you her way, okay? All right. Thank you, Marvina.
Thank you. Send me that information too about the foundation. Email that to me.
Okay. Okay, I will. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And we're going to close out now. Have a great one. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show, and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you, and make it a great day.